What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for PlayPicks.com, and we have a good one here in the NFC Championship game. Get to that in just a second. Back from the DraftKings Sports Betting National Championship, did not win $1 million. Learned a lot. We'll be back. We'll be playing again when they have another one. You can see all that on the channel as well. Did a recap and everything like that. While you're here, please subscribe to the channel below. You got us over 1,100 subscribers. We got to get to 2,100, 3,100, 5,100, all the things like that. We really appreciate it. Give the video a thumbs up and let us know in the comments how you're playing this game. Stick around to the end of the video. Maybe I'll Easter egg it in the middle of the video or something like that. But we'll be doing something with the comments for this weekend. Boy, this has been what an amazing, these four teams. We got the four best teams in the NFL in these two games. We definitely got the two best teams in the NFC. So very, very excited about this. Rams at the Saints right here. Of course, you can go to playpicks.com and look at this article if you want to along the way. Of course, Nate breaks everything down so you can read along. I'll scroll along if you want to read while we're talking here. Look, if you're looking for screaming touts and things like that, this isn't your channel. Head elsewhere. We're going to give you information and you're going to make bets based off of that. I'm not going to sit here and scream lock of the century or any of that crap that, some of these other people are doing. So none of that here. Just want you to get good information. Hopefully that good information turns into winning bets for you. DKPicks.com for $35 for free. Absolutely free at DraftKings Sportsbook. So certainly want to take advantage of that. Looking at the weather, it's a dome game. We don't have to worry about it. There'll be a lot of weather talked about in the AFC Championship game. I'll put on my meteorologist hat that I've never gone to meteorologist school and all the other things like that and try and predict how that's going to work for the next video, but certainly nothing to worry about. In this one, both of these teams, Rams and Saints, both finished the season 13-3 in the regular season. Rams 8-7-2 against the spread on the season. Saints 10-7 against the spread on the season. Of course, last time we saw the Rams, they were handling up on the Cowboys. Saints started slowly in that game versus the Eagles. Obviously got down 2 scores very early, but then that defense did not give up another point the rest of the game. And of course, they came back to win that thing. Did not cover, missed that 52-yard field goal that would have covered, but still won the game by 6 points. We'll scroll down a little bit here so you can take a look at the lines. Of course, this is the lines that were current as of when the article was published. We can click over. Here's DraftKings Sportsbook. As we're sitting right here at DraftKings, we're looking at 3 for the Rams. 3, obviously, a little bit of juice here. A little bit of even money here on this one. A little bit of juiced up here for the Saints. 56.5 is the total here if you want to take that dog money line, which I imagine a lot of people will be doing if they want to play the Rams or something like that. Plus 143 there. At BetStars, about the same here, 3-3, but still 110 at both on both numbers there, 56.5 and 145 actually if you want to play the dog there. Over at FanDuel, we got the hook over at FanDuel. So if you are wanting to play the Rams, getting that hook over here at FanDuel, you're going to have to lay 125 on that, plus 148 on the money line there. 56.5 seems to be the overriding total in this thing right now. 56% of the bets, 51% of the money is on the Rams and the points so far. 55% of the bets and 72% of the money is on the over in this one. Again, no shock there. Pretty much every game we've done on this channel the entire season has been tickets and money count on the over. It's just people love to bet the over. There's been a lot of points in the NFL anyway so far this year for sure. So let's take that into account. But plus, people just don't want to root for defense. They want to root for points. You don't want to sit there and just be like, oh, let's get a defensive struggle. It's just not in human nature. And, certainly the public loves to bet the over. Injuries. A couple of big ones for the Saints actually here. Defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins ruptured his Achilles. He obviously, would have been out for the season if this was week 1, but definitely out for the season here now that we're in the playoffs. A pretty big loss there for the Saints. He had been playing super, super well, plugging up the middle. Again, one of the better run defenses in the league there for the Saints. And just announced just a little bit ago, tight end Ben Watson going to be out, technically listed as an illness. It's reported it's appendicitis is what's going on with him. Listen, Ben Watson, certainly not a game breaker by any stretch of the imagination, but he's kind of the secondary option as far as like the go-to guy whenever it's not Michael Thomas on important downs and important, short yardage situations that they're not running the ball. Whenever they pass, they're getting those little 4 to 6 yard passes to Ben Watson. He's been, when you look at a team that doesn't really have a true number 2 receiver, Michael Thomas obviously being just an amazing number 1, but not a true number 2 receiver. Ben Watson's actually played a decently important part of the offense in this for the Saints team. So pretty big miss there actually for him. Let's look at these two offenses here. Rams, 32.9 points per game. That is second in the NFL. Second in total yards, averaging 421 yards per game. Of course, some questionable defenses they played along the way, but still 18th in red zone touchdown percentage. That's actually pretty interesting. So getting down into the red zone and not really converting those into touchdowns, please remember, probably would have been much, much higher earlier in the season when they had Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp leaving this team with injury certainly hurt them in the red zone. Fourth in rush attempts, third in rush yards, and third in rush yards per attempt. You have Todd Gurley, obviously, been doing amazing. And then the signing of CJ Anderson certainly hasn't slowed that down at all. 15th in pass attempts, but 5th in pass yards. So right in the middle of the league as far as attempts, but 5th in pass yards and 3rd in pass yards per attempt. So Goff actually, the eye test makes you think that Goff has kind of struggled. He certainly the last few games has struggled, but over the course of the season anyway, the eye test kind of fails you a little bit. The numbers kind of back up that he was really efficient so far this year. Pretty interesting when you dig into that. Converting 45% of third downs is this offense. That is 5th in the NFL. So real good on third down. Offensive line statistics, the very best graded run unit, according to Pro Football Focus, 8th graded pass blocking unit. So both in the top 10, of course, the very best run blocking unit in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. On the Saints side of the ball, on the offense, we got 31.5 points per game. That is good for 3rd in the NFL, 8th in total yards, averaging 379.2 yards per game there. They are 4th in red zone touchdown percentage. So incredibly efficient whenever they get inside the red zone down there. You know, they're pretty creative, and despite the fact they don't have a ton of the traditional weapons that you say, they do get creative in there. I mean, they do have Alvin Kamara. They do have a power runner in Ingram. They do have Michael Thomas, one of the better receivers in the entire league. They had Ben Watson there for a while, who was kind of moving the chains, 4 yards and 5 yards at a time and things like that. So they've been able to get in the end zone down there. 5th in rush attempts, 6th in total rush yards, 19th in rush yards per attempt, however. So run the ball a ton. Hasn't necessarily been incredibly efficient while doing it, but run the ball a ton. 23rd in pass attempts. I think if you've been watching this video over the last few weeks and we've been going over the Saints, this won't surprise you, but if this is something new, I think everyone just kind of has this vision of the Saints being this high-flying offense and stuff. And actually 23rd in pass attempts, doesn't put the ball in the air near as much as they have in years past. But 10th in total pass yards and 4th in pass yards per attempt. It's Drew Brees. Of course, he's going to be efficient. Might not throw it very often, but it's Drew Brees. He's going to be efficient with it. Of course, him and Michael Thomas connecting like on 85% of their passes and stuff so far this year. So converting 44.6% of third downs. That's 7th in the NFL. So both of these offenses really, really good on third down. Offensive line grades for the Saints, 14th best run blocking unit, 9th best pass blocking unit. As far as pace goes in this thing right here, Rams 3rd, Saints 29th. So we have a super fast-paced team against a super slow-paced team. Probably going to take a few plays away from the Rams. Probably going to add a few plays to the Saints in this game. Both teams pretty much ball hogs. I mean, 7th and 3rd in time of possession so far in the NFL. So, I mean, both in the top 7 when it comes to holding on to the ball. So love to do that. I'll scroll along here if you want to keep on reading. Got some prop bets in the old article there that you can get kind of at BetStars. Thomas 100 yards, Drew Brees 300 yards, plus 200. I mean, that's kind of a correlated play there. I mean, if Drew Brees goes over 300 and if you think he's going to, then Thomas is going to have 100. Like that's for sure. On the defensive side of the ball, Rams defense allowing 23.9 points per game. That's 20th in the NFL. So giving up a lot of points. 11th overall DVOA, 6th overall as graded by Pro Football Focus. Allowing 355.6 yards per game. That is 19th in the NFL. Giving up 118.1 rush yards per game. That's 20th in the NFL. You have a very heavy run team in the Saints team, and you got a team that's been giving up a lot of rush yards. 30th in rush yards per attempt, giving up 4.9 yards per carry. Nearly 5 yards per carry. If you are wondering what the Saints game plan is going to be, at least early on, you got to think it's try and run it down the throat of this Rams team that's giving up nearly 5 yards per carry on the ground so far this season. 2nd graded pass rush. So that's another thing. So they get after the passer, not so good against the run. Why are you going to play with that? 5th graded against the pass coverage unit. And of course, they'll be tested by Brees and Thomas there for sure. 16th in pass yards per game allowed, 23rd in pass yards per attempt allowed. They are allowing their opponents to convert 35.8% on third downs. Of course, as we mentioned, the Saints converting right at 45%. So something's got to give there. As for the individual matchups, they are in the middle of the pack pretty much against every position in the NFL. On the Saints side of on the coin here, I'm going to keep scrolling here for you. Goff 300 at FanDuel, and a Rams win is plus 370. I mean, you got to think if Goff goes over 300, the Rams have a pretty decent chance of winning that game. Saints D allowing 22.1 points per game. That's 14th in the NFL, 11th overall DVOA, and 6th overall by Pro Football Focus. So this defense has been very, very good this year, allowing 343.2 yards per game. That is 11th best in the league, giving up just 78.4 rush yards per game, guys. 78.4 rush yards per game. That's second best in the league. Only 3.6 yards per attempt. Now, of course, we need to dissect that a little bit more because this Saints team's been playing from the lead a lot, right? So, I mean, they've been getting out to leads on teams, and what do teams do after they get behind a lot? They have to abandon the run. So, I mean, there is something to be read into that, but really it's the yards per attempt that jumps off the page even more than how many rush yards per game they're giving up, because, you know, you can tie that to the fact that the teams abandon the run, the total yardage there, but still only 36.6 yards per attempt. So even when they were trying to run the ball in the game, they weren't having very much success at all. But again, we did mention that loss of Sheldon Rankins, which is a pretty big loss there. 6th graded pass rush, getting after the quarterback pretty well. 18th graded pass coverage unit. 29th in pass yards per game allowed. Of course, there's some correlation there because they face so many more passes, obviously, because of as we mentioned, being a leading team, giving up 264.9 yards per game. So the Rams, you have to expect, with the way that this run defense is played and the way that the pass defense is played, that you think that they're going to probably be going to Woods and Cooks there pretty often. 28th in pass yards per attempt allowed, opponents converting 40.8% of third downs. That's actually 24th in the league. So giving up third downs a little bit more than they would want to there. Really great against running backs, as you would imagine. Pro Football Focus has them 4th overall in the entire league, but 31st against wide receivers. Again, note to Sean McVay and the Rams probably want to attack these guys through the air. All right, so as we do every video, continue to scroll down here if you want to keep reading. Let's make a case for the over in this thing. If, say, you're looking at this and you want to bet the over, let's make the case for that over so you can say, all right, I feel comfortable hitting that over there. And before we get going here, I said I was going to drop something in the middle of the video. Make your picks in the comments below. Give us your thoughts on the side and the total. And you don't even have to be right. I'm just going to randomly pick a person out of the comments below and give them a $50 Amazon gift card. So there you have it. There's the big reveal. Do it in the comments below, and there we're going to randomly do. There's a program that I can literally just hit randomly select a person, and then it'll pop up and that person wins $50 from Amazon. So, and we'll record that on one of the Super Bowl videos and stuff like that, so you can contact us. There you have it. Giving back to the viewers out there. All right, let's make the case for the over here. We've got the second and third highest scoring teams in the NFL going at it in a dome. Obviously sets up pretty well if you're talking about like scoring and stuff like that. No weather concerns at all. No wind concerns, obviously. You don't have to worry about a sloppy field, all that. It's in a dome. So that's another thing, works in the favor of scoring here. You got one of the most efficient teams in all of the league in the red zone. We talked about the Saints, 4th in the league, 4th best in scoring touchdowns when they get down there. Not settling for field goals, but scoring touchdowns. So obviously that helps you get to an over if that's what you're looking at there. You got 2 aggressive coaches as well. I mean, we've seen Sean Payton, we've seen McVay, we've seen these guys really, really press the issue here. Would not surprise me to see these guys, go forward on 4th down in weird situations multiple times, things like that. So two aggressive coaches certainly could help with getting the over there. And of course, if you fail on one of these, being aggressive or something like that, you might create a short field for the other team. And if the Saints get up early, then the Rams are just going to have to throw the ball, or the Rams just come out throwing the ball from the get-go, as we mentioned, not even trying to go this kind of, they're going the path of least resistance route as opposed to trying to shove it down the Saints' throat with the run game. Of course, if they throw in all the time, then that lengthens the game and things like that. Case for the under here, if you are looking to play the under. How about 2 very heavy run teams? I mean, we mentioned that we're looking the Rams 4th in rush attempts so far this year over the course of the season. The Saints 5th in rush attempts over the course of the season. So 2 teams that actually really want to run the ball a lot. I think the Saints do it because they have two really good running backs. I think that the Rams do it. One, of course, Gurley's awesome, but I also think that they want to protect Jared Goff as well. Two ball hog teams as well. We mentioned the time of possession with both of these teams, but we also are looking at teams that are really good in drive efficiency. So getting at least a first down on a drive, extending drives. It's not going to be this kind of, crazy thing where it's just 3 and outs, whatever. And maybe there's block punts or punt returns or kind of things like that. Like I think that we're looking at two teams here that are very good in drive efficiency, at least getting a first down along the way. That could extend these games again with these run heavy teams. Shorten these games with these run heavy teams, keep that clock moving. We're also looking at two teams that don't turn the ball over very much. I mean, that creates, obviously when you're looking at that, I mean, when you turn the ball over a lot, it creates short fields or pick sixes or strip sacks and things like that and whatever. We're looking Saints third fewest turnovers in the league. The Rams are the 11th fewest turnovers in the league. So if you're looking at the under here, might not be those short field situations from turnovers, might not be these crazy, strip sacks and whatever and picks and things like that. You got a Saints defense that's been really bringing it the second half of the year as well. If you're looking at the under in this thing, so throughout the week 17 game where they rested their starters, they allowed 17 points in one game in their final 7 games. Coming down the stretch there. The Saints D really got it going. And of course the Superdome going to be rocking, going to be crazy. Will Jared Goff be able to get anything done and get anything going there for this team? Player props here. If you're looking to play any player props in this one, of course, Matt Peralt. It'll be a link in the description below. There will also be, when you get to the end of this video, you can just click right on it. It'll be embedded there in the kind of the end card or whatever. But he has a whole video on props, so be sure and watch that. I'm going to be looking just personally at anything for like Rams passing. I think that the Rams are, I think Sean McVay's a sharp enough coach that he's going to realize maybe we can't run it down these guys' throats. So I think that maybe I'm going to be looking kind of at some of these passing stats, maybe over on attempts for Goff, over on receptions, maybe for Gurley, different little things like that. So if anything seems kind of low or out of line, that's kind of where I'm going to be focusing my efforts when it comes to props in this thing. As far as the bet goes, full disclosure here, I am from Louisiana. I did go to LSU. I am, a Saints fan, have been since birth. That said, I bet with my pocketbook and my bankroll. I do not bet with my head. I do believe that this Saints team is a superior team, pretty much top to bottom. I mean, you're always taking Drew Brees over Jared Goff. You could say that Gurley and Kamara are pretty much a push at this juncture. If you look at number one receivers, it's not even close. Michael Thomas, blows away Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods. I mean, that's not even a question when it comes to that. Neither team has a tight end. Then you go to when you look at the defensive side of the ball, the front, obviously the pass rush there, the front guys up there for the Rams, super awesome. But if you look at the way that the Saints have been getting to the quarterback as well, their front guys have been doing it as well. Of course, Sheldon Rankins being gone certainly does hurt again. I cannot underemphasize how much that does hurt this team for sure. But if you look at the real difference here, I think is just the secondary. The Saints kind of play this boom or bust situation, but they've gotten way, way better since the acquisition of Apple. He is, former first round pick. They traded for him from the Giants, and he's actually been playing really well. And so with him and Lattimore, I think that it's a pretty good combo there. I think that they will be able to at least shut down the outside guys. Of course, Robert Woods in the slot against PJ Williams. PJ Williams is a disaster in the slot. So I imagine that the Rams will be targeting Woods early and often in this thing and see if PJ Williams just gives them gigantic plays and things down the field, of course. But that being said, I look at a game here. I lean towards the under in this thing. I think the Saints control it. And if they're controlling the game, then that means they're running the ball really, really well. They're being efficient with the pass game, but they do what they want to do here on the ground. I think that this is the strength of this team with the two really good stud running backs here. And I think that the Saints do that. I think that there's going to be a marked advantage in Drew Brees being the starting quarterback for the Saints and Jared Goff being, this is a road playoff game and a hostile environment for Jared Goff. Do you want to rely your hard-earned money on Jared Goff getting home for you in this situation? For me, I don't. I want to bet on the better quarterback at home in these situations in the playoffs. And so for me, this is going to be a Saints play. I think that it wouldn't be a video without me talking teasers here. I think this could easily be a two-way winner in this thing. If you want to do a teaser, I certainly think that the Saints, plus 3.5, 3.5, something like that. If you want to do a 6.5 point teaser, something like that is a pretty safe play. And if you got the Rams all the way up to 10, certainly don't hate it by any stretch of the imagination. But I think there's a bigger chance that the Rams get blown out than it is that the Saints don't get it done. So if you want to do the teaser thing, of course, I have to mention that because that's kind of my brand, staying on brand there. Guys, thanks for watching this. Please subscribe to this channel. We're going to continue putting out awesome content here all the way through the Super Bowl, into basketball season, baseball season. We'll start getting some fight stuff on here and everything like that. So please do that. Hit a thumbs up. Really, really appreciate all the support that we've gotten on this channel so far. You guys have been amazing. We did not think we were going to hit 1,000 subs until, probably the beginning of baseball season. And here we are at 1,100 already. And that's because of you guys, which is why, like I said, in the comments below, tell me who you're playing, tell me which side you're playing, and I'm going to give away $50 to someone. You don't even have to be right. I don't care. Just for participating and for being part of the conversation, going to give away $50 for somebody. There's like a little software thing that I can hit. They'll randomly pick one of you, and you deserve it. You've been awesome. Really, really appreciate it. That said, you got to be a subscriber. So, do that and then be a subscriber, and then we're all good and things like that. $35 for free at DraftKings Sportsbook at DKPicks.com. And hang around. Watch the Matt Peralt video on the props. Link is in the description below, or you can hit the little thing on the end card. Really appreciate it, guys. We'll be back talking the AFC Championship game here in just a bit.